much of what we've taken for granted for so long, democracy, rule of law, sovereignty, security, seems no longer reliable. In 2025, many influential Canadians have done influential things in business, sports, culture, academia, and beyond. But none of those things can really function without those bedrock ideals. And so for your commitment to defending Canadian ideals and institutions, Mr. Carney, congratulations on being chosen as Toronto Life's #1 most influential person for 2025.
Well, thank you. Thanks very much for the honor. But it's interesting the way you frame it, because really what you're saying is you're choosing Canada for 2025. You know, what we represent as a country, what we believe in, what we're fighting for. And that's right, because that's what makes, to use the name of the publication, that's what makes Toronto Life, that what makes Canadian life Canadian. And it's important that we have those institutions, and I'm happy to play a role in preserving them, but it's really what Canadians have chosen and built over the years.
Mm-hmm.
There are interviews, and then there are moments that change the political conversation in an instant. Today was one of those moments. Mark Carney, normally calm, measured, diplomatic, finally let the truth out about what it has really been like dealing with Donald Trump. Not the sanitized version, not the official government statement, not the polite language Canada has been using for years. For the first time, we saw the real Carney, honest, direct, unfiltered, and completely done with Trump's games. In this, Carney confirms what millions of Canadians have quietly suspected. Canada's relationship with the United States under Donald Trump has collapsed, and Canada is no longer waiting for America to get its act together. This is not just another political moment. This is the day the Prime Minister of Canada publicly declared that Canada has outgrown Trump's America diplomatically, strategically, economically, and morally. Today, Carney did what no Canadian leader has done so clearly. He told the truth about Donald Trump's behavior behind closed doors, the instability of U.S. leadership, and the new Canada he is building, one that no longer depends on Washington.
So back in the early 2000s, as you and your wife started a family, you lived in Forest Hill and worked on Bay Street. So what do you recall most from those years?
Well, it was an interesting time. I mean, first, we'd moved back from New York. So it was great to be back in Canada, first and foremost. As you say, our eldest was 6 weeks old when we moved back. So it was time with a young family, meeting people in the neighborhood, and sampling what Toronto had to offer. And one of the things that strikes you, and this is I was going to say it's a cliche, but it's a truism.
Carney begins by cracking open the door to the Oval Office. He talks about the constant calculation needed to navigate Trump's ego, a place where one wrong phrase can blow up a negotiation, a room where allies are treated like liabilities. The reporter reveals the first tell. Trump despises being called Donald, but he insists on calling Carney Mark. It's subtle, but it's power politics, and Carney lays it bare. Then comes a sharper line. He twists empirical data. He mocks our nation. This isn't a diplomatic critique, it's an indictment. It's the reporter telling Canadians, this is who we were dealing with. This is who tried to bully us. This is why we changed course. Then comes the headline moment. Carney admits that Trump openly fantasized about Canada being absorbed into the United States. A line so shocking he delivers it twice for emphasis. Trump genuinely believed Canada should be the 51st state. Carney's response? 3 words that will echo across the country. Never, 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 not maybe, not someday, not under review. Just a clean, definitive rejection. And Carney doubles down, reminding Trump and the world that people admire Canada, that Canada's reputation is built on leadership principles and rule of law, not chaos, fear, and truth social rants at 3 o'clock. Carney then makes a surprising confession. Trump didn't divide Canada. Trump accidentally united it. He explains that Canadians faced with the external threat of America's instability came together with one shared belief. Canada must never again be dependent on the United States. Carney says it openly. Canadians became more unified under the external threat. This is powerful. It shows that Trump's presidency didn't weaken Canada. It strengthened its sense of national identity. Trump tried to dominate Canada. Instead, he pushed Canada toward self-reliance. Carney then reveals what negotiating with Trump actually felt like. He describes Trump as the master of pressure, a man who has been negotiating aggressively his entire life, someone who leverages fear, unpredictability, and brute force. But then Carney delivers the line that defines his leadership. We're not going to sign a bad deal. We're not even going to sign a good deal. We're going to sign a great deal for Canada. This is the difference between Trump and Carney. Trump negotiates to win headlines. Carney negotiates to protect Canadians. Then Carney says what no other prime minister has ever said on camera. Our relationship with the United States has fundamentally changed. The process of coming closer and closer together is over. This is historic. Carney is declaring the end of a 40-year trajectory, the end of automatic alignment, automatic trust, automatic dependence. He confirms that the U.S. changed the relationship unilaterally, without consultation, without coordination, without respect. And Canada has accepted the reality. The United States is no longer the stable partner it once was. So Canada is charting its own path. Then Carney goes viral. He reveals Trump's late-night texting habits. The caps, the exclamation marks, the unpredictable timing. He says diplomatically, "It's not apparent how much the President of the United States sleeps." This is the most polite way of saying Trump behaves like someone running a country from impulse, ego, and chaos.
For Canadians, and another crucial point that builds careers. One of the messages from the government is we are going to build this country. We're going to build Toronto. We're going to build homes. We're going to build major projects. We're going to build clean energy. We're going to build new port infrastructure, build AI and other facilities. The consequence of that is we are going to create hundreds of thousands of careers in the skilled trades because we're going to be building for a quarter century or more.
Let's switch to U.S. relations.
Oh, okay. So that's good. This is the lighthearted part of the discussion.
President Trump is the self-described master of the art of the deal. You, having spent decades in the private sector, are no stranger to the art of negotiation yourself. Having been up close to Mr. Trump many times now, how would you characterize his negotiating skills?
Well, he's a good negotiator. And then you're taking a good negotiator who is negotiating from a position of strength.
Sure.
So in his time in the private sector, he was one of many developers and he had skill, et cetera. When you're president of the United States, the world's military superpower, hyperpower in many respects, the largest, most dynamic economy, and you inherit.
Carney then shifts from describing Trump to describing Canada's new future. He says that Canadians decided something important. Let's take matters into our own hands. We can give ourselves more than the Americans can take away. This is the Carney doctrine. Build Canadian, buy Canadian. Trust Canadian workers, not U.S. politics. Build homes, energy, transit, culture for Canada. Trump hits hard and fast. Carney builds slow and permanently. And that long-term thinking is what he says will define Canada's future. This interview wasn't just candid. It wasn't just brutally honest. It wasn't just a window into Trump's chaos. It was a declaration of independence. Carney made it official. Canada is no longer waiting for Trump's mood swings, no longer waiting for the next tariff threat, no longer adjusting to America's instability. Canada is moving forward with confidence, with purpose, and with a clear understanding that our destiny is not tied to the United States today. Carney didn't just expose Trump. He showed Canadians why the future belongs to a country that builds for itself. Not for Washington, not for Trump, not for American politics, but for Canadians. Make sure to leave a comment and subscribe because this is Capital Insight where independence has a voice.